Hey, Tibor.
How are you?
Good. I haven't seen your face in so long.
Yeah, I couldn't join. I joined Kollel this Monday or last Monday.
Yeah, you
But
were there. Yeah, you were there for a bit, but we miss you.
only for the Persia, yeah.
We miss you. We as people miss you.
Yeah, I miss you too. Like I have more classes now, uh, every day actually, and that's why I can't make it. Like I would have 10-15 minutes to jump in, and I don't think that's.
Yeah. When you have classes every day during the week?
Yeah, I have school every day.
Wow. Okay. I was thinking maybe we could meet up for.
Seven from 7:30 to 14:30.
Ah,
Yeah,
maybe one afternoon we could go for a walk.
we could do that. Yeah,
Yeah, we can legally do that. So let's do it.
I mean, yeah, let's do that.
Okay, cool. I'll write you not when we're streaming live on Facebook.
Not
Okay.
yet. It's okay.
Mikey, you have your bottle of wine.
Still on the fridge, but yeah, it's coming soon.
Did you find the candle, Rebecca?
Oh, I'm gonna go find it now.
Oh man.
Actually, I watched the sky. I was watching the sky, the stars appearing on the sky.
Nice.
It was really nice. Like, I did it the first time in my life. I know, okay, stars have to be on the sky. That's where it's nightfall. But it was like it was great. I didn't see anything. Then it get darker, and then I saw like 1, 2. Then I was searching for the third. And then it came, and then a lot more came. It was beautiful.
That's awesome. I'm jealous. We can't do that here, I don't think.
I'm planning to climb on the roof sometimes.
We had a discussion there's an apartment above us that is owned by someone who doesn't really live there. Maybe it's a front, maybe it's not a front. I don't really know. But we were discussing with some of the neighbors today, like, you know, if we put a ladder from our window to he has this like big deck on like outside. It's like we could get there. We could all get there. And if we're in it together, then we can do it.
Yeah. I mean, here in my house, you can do that.
We don't live in the holy city of Potsdam, so it's
of the Caesar. No, who was that? Oh, the Kaiser. What is that? What is it in English? Kaiser?
The Caesar, yeah.
Yeah, that's the Caesar, yeah.
1 second, sorry.
Come on, just do it.
Sorry about that. Hello, Bradley. Hello, Ruben.
The sound of silence.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
William is also just got joined. William is my roommate from Brussels. Moshe of Brussels. Hello, William.
Wait, let me redo this video. Okay. Hi. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing?
Good, and you? How is everything in Brussels?
It's going all right. Actually, I got myself some fries from the fry shop down the street that I never got to try. Pretty good.
Nice. Rediscovering the city in terms of pandemics.
Something like that. I discovered that we have a similar situation with the roof as they were talking about. We also have like our building has 3 apartments, and the one up top is not used. And it turns out there's this window that leads to this second terrace, which then leads to their apartment, and their apartment's the one on the top. And so, yeah.
Mm.
We should all pick a night and do it together. They can't take us all down.
You know, Jeremy, I'm really happy to virtually be here because I'm from New York and I really like bass in New York. I used to go a lot with Avram.
Nice.
Excited.
Cool. Oh, hello, Dalia. Привет, привет.
So prepared. Love it.
Hello, people.
Hello. Dahlia, nice job on Friday night. Very impressive.
Very weird, but very fulfilling. I was in the mood after with Kesha, we did the Kiddush. It was very fast. And then I was like, you know what? Might as well do a few of the, started with Yedid Nefesh. And I was like, yeah, you know, we can go further than that. And it was kind of fun. I found a really good Spotify playlist with Kabbalat Shabbat songs.
Nice.
So you don't feel that lonely alone in your own voice, because I can't sing at all. It's very fun. I can definitely recommend. It's the first time I did a tefillah by myself alone at home, and I really enjoyed it.
Amazing.
Whoever made this playlist, very grateful to them.
What's it called?
Kabbalat Shabbat,
Awesome. Good to know.
the only one. There's only one on the entire Spotify, but there is one.
Only one? We'll check it out.
I don't know. I don't
Good
really
stuff. Yeah.
use Spotify.
Anyway, very, very cool. Thanks for sharing about it.
Hi, Sammy. Our neighbors today decided that there's like a little plot in front of our building that was like overrun with weeds and whatever, and they decided we're gonna clean up the whole thing and plant like our own plants there and make it beautiful. And they spent the whole day doing it. And I was like watching them and I really wanted to participate. I was like, listen, actually planting is really something I can't do on Shabbat. It's not like, you know, like turning on a light switch, like really it explicitly says don't plant on Shabbat. So I was just trying to entertain them as my contribution to the team. I'm not sure whether or not it was appreciated.
Tomorrow we'll bring our flower seeds.
Yeah.
So I think we can keep starting. I think maybe a few more people will join a little bit in the next minutes. So before I give the word to Rebecca or Jeremy, I don't know who is making the amazing teaching today. Jeremy? Or both of you?
Jeremy.
I just read an article the other day that was saying like it takes usually like 21 days to make an habit. And I was wondering, like we have been, at least I have been in quarantine for 49 days or more than 50 days. And I was wondering, and I wanted to ask to you, like, if you have found during these days some kind of habits that you would like to keep once quarantine is over, especially now that we see a little bit more the light at the end of the tunnel. It seems quarantine will be in some way over soon. I wanted to ask if some of you would like to share some habits that they have start to do in those days that they will really enjoy to keep doing in the days to come.
I would like to start. Okay. Can I start, Nikki?
Yeah, sure.
Shavuot Tov, everybody. A habit, actually funny that you raised it up, Nikki, because we've talked about it in the past week. One habit that I started during this time we're having right now, the crisis, is, for example, turning off the phone for Shabbat, which I started doing since the first weekend of home office. which I will and I want to continue on doing after the whole crisis, because it's actually a very nice and chilling time without a phone for 24 hours, not being reachable. And yes, that's one habit or one thing I
your
want to
beard?
keep on doing after.
And your beard, is that one too?
Dahlia, I got the time slot for the hairdresser next week, so everything will be back in to normal.
I think you look beautiful, Sammy. I'll just say that from my perspective.
I agree as well.
Thank you, Jerry.
And I see, Danny, you're saying that it actually takes 66 days to make the habits.
Well, there's different studies, but I looked in different books on what they say. Most of them say like between 66 and some like 54, 66, but definitely a long time to really establish a habit, I think.
Okay, so maybe like we are almost reaching the 66 days. So is there any habit that you're willing to reach so in the next 10 days to come?
So I started a habit. I'm not sure if I started it definitely during this isolation time. A gratitude journal. So I love writing, but everything that I write usually has to be of quality. Like I don't have space in my life to write anything that is just blah. Usually, so. It was very nice to, and I hate anything in the morning. So all of the things that people do in the morning, like gratitude journal, this, that, those things, I never started because all of them were in the morning and I wouldn't like to do that. So I decided I don't have to do them in the morning. I can do them in the evening. So I started a gratitude journal, and it was great because I can every evening I write at least one sentence. Sometimes I write a few pages, sometimes more or less, but it doesn't have to be of quality, but it is very fulfilling to reflect on the day, what you're grateful for, and especially in this time now, but definitely even beyond that. So about the simple things, the easy things that I'm grateful for, helped me to be grateful for my life, for what I have, but also to think about others and like, wow, those are basic things that I have that others don't have. It's a very fulfilling. It will be 4 weeks tomorrow that I've been doing this, and it's one of the really coolest, nice little habits that I have started, and I can definitely recommend.
Nice, really nice. I think I will try to make it. It's something that seems like
doable.
Really doable and really powerful to do. Will anyone else like to share something before passing to the learning of today? Great. The sound of silence. I like it. So, Jeremy, all yours. First of all, sorry, I wanted to welcome everyone. I forgot to welcome everyone who is here today. Actually, as a new thing, we have people from Brussels joining, from Moshe of Brussels joining today. We have the people from BaseBerlin, and we have people from EUJS all together doing this Havdallah. So thanks to everyone for joining, and please feel free, Jeremy, to go now.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Mikey, and thank you again to you. This is like our 7th week doing this now. I don't even know.
I will say it's already an habit.
Yeah, it's a habit. It's like, what else are we gonna, which is great. It's really lovely. Okay, so this week is Pesach Sheni, also known as Second Passover. And it actually stretches back. It's funny. Rebecca and I were talking about it. And she's like, is it in the Bible? I was like, no, it's not in the Bible. And then it turns out it is in the Bible. It's in the Torah. But it comes from Bamidbar, chapter 9, the book of Numbers. And it's this whole thing. Every year to commemorate Passover, you would bring a Passover sacrifice to the temple. But what happens if you were impure? What happens if for some reason you had some ritual impurity and you couldn't go to the temple? Not a problem. A month later, on Pesach Sheni, you can then bring your lamb, and it's like you've done your duty. Don't worry about it. No harm, no foul. The interesting thing is, in the age of the Talmud, Pesach Sheni sort of expands Maybe I couldn't make it for whatever reason to Jerusalem on Passover. So what do? No problem. I come on Pesach Sheni. And I have to tell you, when all of this started, Rebecca and I are like, you know what? Passover's not going to happen. But Pesach Sheni, we're going to have a huge Seder, and we're going to have 150 people, and it's going to be amazing. And let me tell you, Thursday night, we will not have 150 people in our apartment. It's not going to happen, folks. But I really love the idea of Pesach Sheni because it means that you always have a second chance. You always have a second chance. Yeah, Passover is a huge holiday. We would all gather in Jerusalem in the hills and we'd have our lambs like on the little barbecue spit and we'd be circling it. And it was this big party and maybe somebody couldn't make it. Maybe somebody couldn't be there. It actually reminds me of a story that we read a couple weeks ago in Daf Yomi, in the Talmudic tractate of Shabbat, about Shimon Bar Yochai. Shimon Bar Yochai was a big character when it comes to Lag BaOmer, which is not this week, but the week after. But Shimon Bar Yochai is a really interesting character, and he's like talking some shit about the government. He's like being like, bleep the Romans suck. And then like the Romans find out, and they're like, okay, we're gonna kill you. And he's like, oh no. So he like goes to hide in one place, and that doesn't work out. Talia and I actually learned this story together this week. And then he goes and hides in a cave with his son for 12 years. Maybe that's where they wrote the Zohar. Maybe that's not where they wrote the Zohar. I don't know. But they're in a cave for 12 years, him and his son. And then they emerge from the cave. And they're so shocked by the world they see that fire spits out of their eyes and they start to burn down the world. How are people engaged in manual labor? How are people not sitting and learning Torah, thinking about the meaning of the universe, just like we've been doing for the last 12 years? So a voice emerges from the heaven and says, you emerged from your cave just to burn down my world? Go back inside. So they go back inside and they come out a year later. And a year later, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's son, Rabbi Elazar, is still burning the world down. But everywhere that Elazar burns, Shimon Bar Yochai heals. And suddenly Shimon Bar Yochai starts to change. And the man who had criticized the marketplaces and bathhouses and currencies of the Romans now begins to contribute to those same things in society. There are always second chances. There are always second chances. What are the second chance opportunities that this whole thing is creating? What are the things that have opened up to you that weren't available to you before? I will say it's amazing that you asked that question, Mikey. What are the new habits you developed? We had before this crisis basically outsourced the raising of our child to the daycare here. We were like, okay, we have amazing daycare. They'll take care of raising the child. We don't have to do anything.
It's
like
not really like that. It was just that there were a lot of hours that she was there and not here. Now she's here for a lot of hours, so. Yeah,
so I think that we have like renewed our covenant as parents. I think that we are, I think before we had kids, we were like, oh, we're gonna have this like conscious child raising thing and we're gonna be so thoughtful and whatever. And then like you have a kid and you forget and like things are moving fast and whatever. And now I think we're like re-entering that stage of consciousness. We're living in a time of second chances. Maybe Pesach Sheni isn't gonna have 150 people, but it's still an opportunity to do something that you weren't able to do before. Think about the opportunities that have opened up to you during this insanity that is our lives at the moment and how you can take advantage. And you know what? Even if you don't do it now, it's never too late. It's never too late. And speaking of never too late, it's never too late to do Havdallah. Actually, there is a too late, but you have until Tuesday. We're not going to wait until then. We're going to do it right now. So I encourage everyone to get your Havdallah candles and your wine or grape juice or beer or vodka for the strong. And we will do the Havdallah ceremony.
Also, I will unmute everyone so we can sing all together the Havdallah.
Yeah, please do. Please unmute yourselves. And you know what? It's going to sound weird, but forget it. Let's just do it. Because like, here we are. So feel free to unmute yourselves. Havdallah is an introductory prayer followed by four short blessings. Wow. The first over the wine, the second over the sweet smelling spices, the third over the blessed flame, and finally the blessing that separates holy from that which is not less holy, but not to worry. There's always a second chance, and the holiness will return to us soon enough. Hine el Yeshuati Eftach velo echad Ki azim Ratya Adonai Vayehi Yeshua Ushavte Ma'im Bechaso Adonai
Two wake ups, that's exactly it.
Anenu Yom so okay.
Teshet Yemei Hamaseh Baruch
Shavua Tov.
Tov, Agit Tov.
Agita Voch. Sammy, excellent work. Candles, that's what I like to see.
I like Mickey chugging the wine. That was classic.
Yeah, that was pretty good too.
It's the minhag already. It's the minhag in Budapest.
Yeah.
This is how minhagim start, folks. All right, so like it's up to you two.
Cool. Shavua Tov, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you for joining.
Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov.
Good to